Welcome back to another episode of Cupcakes Consciousness. We are so happy that you're here with us today because we wanted to talk about something that seems to be trending a little bit more in today's world, is going alcohol free, making the conscious choice to give up alcohol.
And something that we didn't really realize that we were venturing on this path. That was, as Erin's saying, trendy, but we want to talk about this is because it's trendy. We actually wanted to talk about it because it has kind of become a part of our life, and for so many reasons. And we just wanted to share with you guys kind of, I guess, what we've been going through for the last little while, because the more that we have stayed away from it, and Erinn, I'm gonna give her kudos because she's been really good. For myself, I'm just going to tell you straight up, I've been maybe having a glass of wine a month. And it's funny because I've just had it now just once a month, that I'm actually able to feel that extraordinary difference of having that one glass of wine a month the next day, what it feels like for me. And so now all of these people that are, trending, let's call it then, that are giving up alcohol, it's actually interesting to see how I can relate to them now so clearly. And I know that this is what you've been talking about you've never been a big drinker.
No.
Ever.
No.
Been a big
never.
drinker. Never been a partier, nothing like that. You've been so disciplined. Michael, maybe not so.
Yeah. But that's okay. But no, honestly, I think, in the past couple of years, I would say probably in 2020 was when, Michael and I in our house, we just said, why are we drinking? Because first of all, everyone was kind of stuck in their houses, and who the heck wants to drink at home by yourself? It's kind of depressing. It's kind of just not an enjoyable experience.
Right.
So for us, we just kind of said, oh, we don't really care to drink. And then for me, that was kind of a catalyst to just be like, wait, I don't really feel good after I drink. I don't really feel good when I'm drinking. It's not a good feeling. You may enjoy it, if you're going out for dinner with friends or whatever, but I've always found that the next morning I'm like, why did I have a glass of wine? Why did I have, a cocktail, whatever it is. So just for me, it's just been a conscious choice of just listening to my body and being a little bit more intentional about what I'm actually putting into my body, because there's more and more research now that's coming out that's saying, really the toxicity that is really in alcohol, and how, it damages your liver and, weakens your immune system and has so many harmful health effects. And again, I don't mean to be a downer in this, because you choose to do whatever you want to do. We just thought it was important to kind of share this a little bit, that with the holiday season approaching and people, going out to Christmas parties and holiday parties and all that kind of stuff, there's always some more alcohol floating around and stuff. But, maybe you want to take that conscious choice, if that feels right for you, to maybe limit it a little bit and just kind of see how you feel, because
there are more people not wanting to partake
for sure
in alcohol.
For sure.
And there, I think that there is this very healthy trend towards not partaking in it. And as much as, we're feeling the pressure then, and we could feel the pressure going to holiday parties and stuff, but I think that this podcast, what we want to do, I want to just drill it back for a second here, is this episode, we wanted to share with you the negative aspects of drinking.
Yeah.
And what it can do to you spiritually. Not just physically. There is an absolute spiritual hijacking that takes place with your essence, with this hijacking of your actual spiritual essence that happens. And that's why they call it spirits, alcohol is actually called spirits. And it allows you to be open and opened up to allow, let's call it, darker energies to come in and take over your soul. And I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but people that drink a lot, their personalities actually change.
For sure.
And you and I have both experienced this. In particular in
our personal life.
For the last 15 years or so, there was a situation that we as a family were all involved with, and and it actually affected us deeply,
Very much.
very on a very deep level.
Mm-hmm.
And so, anyways, saying that, there's this lack of what I experience whenever I've had a glass of wine, is that I become more dull.
Yeah.
My focus becomes dull. My brain becomes way less sharp. The next day, even more so. There is this really, I'm going to say, a dumbing down of who I am. I become a very small version of myself.
Well, I think too, because alcohol in itself is a depressant, right? You're not going to be reaching any sort of spiritual enlightenment or any sort of high vibrational frequency by drinking alcohol. And again, this is not meant to be judgment whatsoever. This is solely based on like our experience with it. And you know, we found this really amazing post from someone you follow, Belinda Anderson on Instagram, and she just had such a great way of kind of framing what, you know, alcohol really does to our bodies and to our spiritual, you know, path and our spiritual awakening too, as a result. And it was just very, very powerful.
How it lowers your vibration.
Yeah.
Really, really lowers your vibration.
Yeah.
Do you want to read that first paragraph?
She
Just
said,
quote it.
yes, okay,
It's
cool.
known that
Go ahead.
drinking alcohol. Go ahead, you read it.
Okay, so
I need my glasses.
Okay. It is known that drinking alcohol depresses the nervous system, destroys brain cells, is toxic to the liver, weakens the immune system, and has many other harmful health effects. However, have you also considered how alcohol lowers your vibration, numbs your psychic senses, weakens your spirit, alters your state of consciousness, creates a spiritual disconnect, reduces self-awareness, intuition, and darkens your soul? That's a very powerful, powerful statement, and I think it's totally true.
Oh, it is absolutely true. Like there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There isn't anyone that says, you know what, I feel healthy from drinking wine, or, you know, give me more vodka because you know, I'm thriving in that environment. So I think that, you know, today we just wanted to offer kind of a truth that's happening within Erinn's and my world. You know, Erinn has completely stopped drinking. And for myself, I really thought that I had, and then it was about, actually it was over our anniversary weekend. So what's the date of that?
November 11th, 12th.
Yeah. So it actually wasn't long ago. So it was just before that. So just say 2 weeks ago. And I felt, I worked so hard that day.
I deserve a glass of wine.
I deserve a glass of wine. You know, so I popped open a bottle of wine and poured myself literally like a little half glass, like I just drink out of a shooter glass even. I don't even use wine glasses with stems or anything. and that's all I had. But the next day, I felt so rotten. And I went, okay, so I have, you know, lost a few brain cells or numbed a few brain cells or whatever. The next day I'm feeling it even more. And it really affected, you know, how do I say, me going forward in my life, like what I want to accomplish that next day. I could have been slower, I was more sluggish, my brain wasn't tuned in properly. I actually felt like I had aged because, you know, you're feeling like tired and, you know, my face, I lose a certain amount of color in my face even, you know, and I notice this stuff. So I'm going like, why did I have to do that when I just could have, you know, made myself a cool, you know, soda drink, you know, with sparkling water and add some beautiful essences to it and, you know, some, you know, elderflower, and something exotic like that, and treat myself that way. So, you know, going forward, this is what I now have in my kitchen. So I've got like crazy mushrooms, shaga mushroom extracts, like all these beautiful things, ginger syrups, different things that I can add to soda water so that I'm actually treating myself into something that I wouldn't normally do. And I find that is so satisfying in itself. Like those are my rewards now. I don't need alcohol. I don't need booze. I actually have recognized how my dreams change. My whole
it's your energy levels.
The energy level goes down.
I just get foggy and just not. Just I'm not fully present at all.
You get very low. And I can feel that in your energy. I can feel it with Michael too. He gets a little soft. He gets like a little, slower, slower, right?
His brain gets soft. It's a great descriptor word. Sorry, Michael. Okay, so without us just keeping on harping on the negative impacts of,
okay, so let's talk about a positive thing with it.
The negative impacts of alcohol, consumption and use, whether it be casual or more, consistent or whatever. We wanted to really talk about the health benefits that you can find by choosing to go alcohol-free, or maybe even just limiting it a little bit. So the first thing, obviously, is improved physical health. So this just goes back to, your energy levels, you're a runner, or you're, doing better at the gym or whatever by not actually consuming alcohol. Your sleep patterns will improve dramatically, just like what Kelly said, that her sleep has been affected by alcohol, so your sleep will improve for sure.
Because alcohol does start out as a depressant, and then at around 2 or 3 in the morning, it turns into a stimulant.
Yes. For sure.
And that's why your sleep patterns change. Like, I find that in myself, and this never fails. I get woken up at 2 or 3 in the morning, and I'm going, oh my God.
Wide awake looking at the ceiling.
It's the wine.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter if it's a half a glass.
Totally,
right?
totally. So the next thing would be weight management for sure. So alcohol, as we all know, has added calories, added sugar, added all this extra stuff that you're just consuming like water. So obviously it's going to start, adding some additional weight onto you. So an added benefit for you to not be,
it spikes your blood sugar.
It spikes your blood sugar, so you don't really need it. Next thing would be an enhanced mental clarity and focus for sure. And I can speak to this 100%. Especially too as I'm getting older. I say getting older. I'm 33, Mom, you're 60 now. So I'm sorry, I don't mean to be a jerk, but
but you are a jerk.
But being older, quote unquote, I've just noticed myself getting so much more affected by it quicker. If I have half a glass of wine or 1 full glass of wine, I'm like, okay, I'm like a write-off for 2 days. I need a full-blown recovery after those, that 1 glass of wine. So for myself, definitely I've noticed an increased improvement in my, mental state.
Absolutely. I mean, we already mentioned that, how it affects me big time.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
We need as much mental clarity as we can get.
Yes, exactly. Improvement in your emotional well-being. That's a huge one. As alcohol is a depressant, it can exacerbate those feelings of depression, of anxiety, of fears, of, all that kind of stuff. So staying away from it will help to regulate your nervous system, helps to regulate your emotional state of being as well.
I completely agree with what you're saying. Right now, I think that we're going through a world of such, chaos and a lot of things being thrown at us right now. And we really need to be focused on self-regulating, and self-regulating our emotional state and not being affected by outside stressors, doing our best, and if we are affected by outside stressors, how do we get regrounded and recentered as quick as possible? That's, how we maintain our happiness, our joy, reducing suffering, etc. So it's just always keep on coming back to center all the time. And when you are controlled by an outside force like alcohol, because it is a controlling mechanism, because it definitely affects your soul and allows other consciousness to come into you, it stops you from being able to self-regulate yourself, because you've been essentially hijacked. I hope I explained that well.
Yeah, for sure.
So that helps with your emotional well-being, your balance, your happiness, your joy, bringing true awareness as to who you are. And by drinking, you disconnect from who you are.
Yeah. Agree. For sure.
Great, let's do the next one.
Next one, in this current state of our world, with everything being so costly, so expensive, obviously if you're going to be quitting drinking or reducing your alcohol consumption, you're going to be saving some money, which is always
because it's expensive, guys.
It's very expensive. My goodness, the
Or it
price
can
of
be.
everything is so expensive.
I mean, especially too going out to restaurants. I mean, I
For
just
sure.
know that ever since my marriage is over, if I can say that, it's like, oh my God, like
saving so much money.
There's no more bottles of wine with dinner. Like, it's like, oh my God, it's like a huge saving. So not to give too much information, but to be on the other side of that relationship, I am like keeping a lot of money in my pocket.
Absolutely. That's good. It's all going into your renovation, but still.
That's right.
But still. And for sure.
That's a good thing. I can touch that.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. It's a physical
tangible
thing. It's a new bathroom. It's all this fun stuff. And I think the most important one is connecting with other human beings in a more meaningful, deeper way. Because more often than not, you know, when you're relying on alcohol to actually create connections with other human beings, it can, I don't know, be more of like a shallow interaction, right? So when you remove the alcohol from the dynamic, it forces you to find new ways to interact and forces you to find new ways to hang out with your friends and family and, you know, partners.
Or that you look at the person, you go, oh, like we're not drinking now. What do we have in common?
Yeah, totally.
You might not have anything in common with that person that you're now drinking with, right?
For sure.
The relationship gets exposed for what it is.
Absolutely.
Even if it's like girlfriends or just boyfriends or, you know, husband, wife, girlfriend, you know what I mean? Whatever relationship. If you don't have that in common to eat and drink together, it's a habitual thing that we've all created in this culture. And why? You know, what are we hiding from? Like, what are we masking? Why do we need to have this glass of wine in our hands to allow that relationship to be something that maybe it really shouldn't be?
Yeah.
Because if that's the only thing you got in common.
Yeah. It's like alcohol acts as this like lubricant for people's relationships of like how.
Or veil.
Yeah, exactly.
Or veil.
Of how you can actually interact and how you can actually be with the person or whatever, right? So those are some benefits that we've found with, you know, going alcohol free or limiting our alcohol consumption for sure. Anything else you wanted to add on that?
No. And, you know, I mean, I should say yes. No, yes.
No, and then she keeps talking.
That you don't have to get freaked out by it. Like, sometimes it's just try it for, if you're going out for dinner, try going out for dinner just that one time and don't order any alcohol. Don't order wine with your dinner. Order something cool, like get them to make you a non-alcoholic drink.
So many restaurants now, I don't mean to interrupt you. So many restaurants now have like cool like virgin drinks and cocktails, and there's also so many brands now that are coming out that are like completely alcohol free, and they're at the grocery store, and we love trying all those
like
fun
Ginger
new
Bug,
ones.
right?
Yes, all those fun new ones.
There's so many good ones.
Yeah. There's really great options.
So just sometimes it's still treating yourself. So psychologically, you're feeling like you're still treating yourself, because we have to get off the bandwagon that a glass of wine is what's treating us.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be that. It's just that company with another person or the company with yourself. You're spending a night in. Like, I now enjoy making a beautiful cup of shaga tea, like shaga mushroom tea with some raw honey. And like, it's so nurturing with a little bit of actually blue lotus just before bed for dreaming and stuff. But the blue lotus flower is like amazing.
We should give people the links too. We'll put the links for these products in our like show notes here too on Spotify and
maybe,
Apple
you know,
as well
let's
too.
do another podcast though too, and we're going to talk about like healthy drinks, like just healthy drinks of how we drink.
Love it.
All the good stuff. So anyways, I just wanted to offer that if you just try it for that one dinner and just try not ordering wine. And what does that turn out like for you? How do you feel? You know, it's just sometimes getting over that first hurdle of the server coming up to you and you're just saying, yeah, I'm just going to do a soda water.
Yeah, exactly.
Or can you make me a non-alcoholic drink? Something special, something different. Allow them to surprise you and see how you feel. Because by the end of the meal, I promise you this, for me anyways, this is how I felt. I didn't end up missing it. It was awkward to not order a glass of wine.
Yeah.
But by the end of the meal, I didn't miss it. And I actually felt so good. And I tasted the food. And the next day I felt great.
Yeah.
It was just, my digestion worked well. Everything worked amazing. So
For sure.
anyways, that was just an idea. And so with, you know, holiday season coming up, the new year coming up,
something that you could experiment with.
It could be a new chapter that you're going to open up for your life.
I love it. Great. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. As always, if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to our podcast, like this episode, like this video if you're watching us on YouTube too, and we hope to see you soon.